Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Crastinators Poopcast. I'm the best guy ever. Man, that was a killer joke. Nailed it.
He really is the best guy ever.
The best poop ever. Oh, he did it again.
Yeah, he just keeps...
going nuts with that.
He just can't stop himself.
Here's Ben Saint is here.
Yeah, I am. Hi, fucker.
As is Mumpky Jones.
Cut my dick into pieces. This is my last chode.
And Digibro.
I woke up, I jacked my dick, and I came on the show.
You came on the show.
That's what you needed that half an hour for?
No, I jacked off before that half an hour.
Give me like 10 seconds and I'll
Yeah.
go do that shit real quick.
Yeah, you're really pushing my times up there, Ben. I'm not trying to like get fucking candles out and like fucking edge for the afternoon.
Can I just say
ahead.
that this is the first episode of PCP where I don't respect any of the co-hosts, even a little bit.
That's good. We tried to get Mage on, but she's busy.
Usually
so
we have like
didn't.
a Mage or a Jess or a Hippo, but today it's just like the worst of the bunch.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, this basket of deplorables here.
It's
On the
hashtag
PCP.
worst cast. It's
Worst
the worst
cast.
cast. So today's a special day for the PCP because this will be our 50th episode.
Oh, fuck.
How about that
Whoa.
shit?
Not,
Pretty good.
not counting the
bicentennial.
special bonus episode.
Whoa.
Well, that's true, of course. The countless other episodes of things on the... Yeah, hey, everybody, go pledge $5 to the fucking... In fact, when this
Patreon.
comes out, the bonus episode for March of 2017 will be out.
Will
and if
it?
you want to hear the
yeah.
highly anticipated Shrek versus Harry Potter throwdown...
I
you
forgot
need
that's
to
what
get-
it was.
That's what it was. Oh, it's a glorious time. It's going to be the best thing of all time. So yeah, go to our Patreon. Go to the fucking Procrastinators Patreon.
Yeah.
Fucking links and
Do
shit.
all
Pledge
that
$5. There you go.
Do what
And
you need.
go
Do
listen to
what
it.
you gotta do. Just
And
like
we don't know
in
what's
Leprechaun into Hood.
That's right. And who knows what we'll do for the bonus episode next time. We'll let you know. Anyway, so we're talking about travel today. Woo. Travel is the topic. Yeah, because Mumpky was just traveling. He got home from traveling 2 hours ago, right?
Yeah,
Just
Nate,
got
can I
back?
tell my own fucking story? Jesus Christ.
All right. I'm just leading in. Go on.
I just wanted
I'm
to say,
transitioning.
I'm in the perfect condition to record a podcast about travel because I am right now the embodiment of how travel affects a person. I am very sick and tired, and my throat is all fucked, and I can't even focus for more than like 30 seconds at a time on anything because I woke up so early to travel. So I'm very excited to talk about travel today and all the pros and cons and negatives and cons and bad parts.
Mm-hmm. So just tell us, where did you leave from and where did you arrive? How long was this travel time?
I started off in North Carolina, and I took a plane to Chicago, and then I took a plane here to Iowa. So it's not the longest I've been on. I mean, the longest travel time, we'll get into that later, but this one was only 5 or 6 hours, but I'm mostly just tired because I had to get up at like 4 in the morning.
Yep.
I am also the embodiment of travel now because I just ate a Pop-Tart.
And got out of bed and walked over to your desk.
Stellar.
Just
Pop.
now, like as we were recording, I have been eating a Pop-Tart. And I think that the only time I usually eat Pop-Tarts is in travel because it's a very convenient food to take with you, you know, stuff some in your backpack or something.
When I travel, I
Suppose so.
always find that I eat a shit ton when I'm traveling. I go to like fucking gross restaurants and I buy tons of shitty food and I eat it all because it's like a vacation. It's like a little I'm in transition. What I do on this at this point in my life doesn't matter. So I'll just go to like when I used to travel from home to college, I would get on the fucking train from Providence to New York or something, and then take a bus from New York to New Jersey or something. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Point
I
is,
did that too.
Point is, I was stopped in New York, and I would walk around, and I would fucking eat Krispy Kreme. I would go and look for Krispy Kreme in fucking Penn Station, and I would eat Krispy Kreme. Because it was the only time, because they didn't have them in Massachusetts back then.
Penn Station had a good selection. They had
Penn
some good
Station-
deep dish pizza I would get.
Penn Station is a great station. One time, I missed my train, and I got stuck there overnight, and I had to sit slumped against a wall for an entire night.
That's like my worst nightmare.
It happened.
Yep.
I had to sit slumped against a wall while fucking literally insane homeless people like wandered around like zombies.
You were SpongeBob in the Rock Bottom episode.
Yeah,
You were an urban
so.
street warrior for one night.
It was rough.
Since Davu's not here on this episode, he said he didn't have enough to say about travel, I guess. But I will share a similar story of his, which is that when he was flying back after the events that transpired, which inspired the How We Lost Our Virginity episode.
Yes.
On his way
Classic.
back, his plane, I guess they were repairing it. He had to stay in the airport overnight. Like almost a whole 20 hours or so that he was stuck in this airport, and they gave him like a bunch of vouchers for shit. And I guess they had given him a voucher for a hotel room, like, you know, the connected to the airport one, but he didn't take it because he was afraid that he would sleep through alarms and not make his flight again. So instead he opted
For 20 hours?
Yeah,
Well,
he opted to sleep in the airport instead, like to just lay on chairs and shit, and use their food vouchers and stuff. So
Do you know what airline that was? I'm just curious.
I have no idea.
I'll have to ask him sometime.
Southwest probably. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a question based off of that I'd like to open up to the panel. Can you guys sleep when you're traveling? Because personally, if I'm in the middle of traveling, like I can't sleep on the plane, I can't sleep in the airport, I can't sleep anywhere until I get to my destination.
I can only sleep if I am dead fucking tired, which has been the case a lot of the times. But I have to be like killed. I
have a really hard time sleeping on buses and trains and planes and stuff. So sometimes when I travel, I plan it so that I just don't sleep the night before. So I'll have been up for like fucking 40 straight hours when I get on the bus, and then I can fucking sleep
Ben,
for the trip.
I've tried things like that, and sometimes that doesn't mean I'll pass out.
It doesn't always, but
it
helps.
Every year that I go to Baltimore for Otakon, my cousin Boyd drives the car. It's usually my car, but he drives, and like it's a 4.5 hour to 5 hour drive, and I usually am so excited about the con that I won't sleep for the night before, and I'm thinking I'll just sleep in the car on the way there, and it never happens. Like I'll be sitting there like utterly racked with tiredness. Like all I can think about is how badly I want to sleep, but something about being in a car, I just can't do it. But then somehow after Otakon's over and we're on the way home, I pass out like a fucking, I go out like a light, and I'm just done the whole way back because I'm just too physically out from having not really slept through most of the convention.
Oh, I hear you, my gay brother. I am with you 100% in all of your endeavors.
Well, hey, I was gonna say,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Ben's a very supportive guy.
Uh-huh.
In the when I was traveling, I had some experience like that. When I have a very easy time sleeping. On planes.
Nate, you used to fucking when we would stay up and watch Adult Swim. You would fucking pass out way early. You would miss all the latest animes.
I would.
Something. I think the reason me and my friends had that very like my cousin is one of those guys who you can like see him fully asleep and snoring, but he will insist he didn't fall asleep. Like no matter what, he'll be like, "No, I wasn't sleeping, man. I wasn't sleeping. I was just resting my eyes."
I kind of feel like that. Like I think when me and Ben would be up watching anime late, like he would say, like, "Are you asleep?" And like I had been like mostly unconscious, but I would like flutter open my eyes and like see something on the screen, be like, "No, I'm totally awake right now."
Yeah, he would argue with you about it that he wasn't asleep,
mad?
even though it was like it was blatantly true. But the reason is
I never get mad
because all of us had a certain like shame that we had missed the animes.
Yeah, sure.
Like the one thing that we all cared about in life was getting to watch anime, but it all airs at this late ass time period. And so if you didn't make it to the end, if you didn't make it to 2 a.m. when they restarted and do all the shows again, then it's like, oh, you just couldn't do it, man. Like your passion wasn't strong enough, you know?
Yeah.
If you were if you really cared, you would have made it all the way through and powered through the sleep. So I think that's why we, none of us were accusing each other of that, but I think that's what we were afraid of.
On the subject of sleeping while traveling, I did fucking buy a case of some like over-the-counter sleeping pills, which I think just have like melanin or melatonin or whatever the fucking sleeping thing is. And sometimes I take those, and I don't know if they actually help, but they feel like they help, and that's good enough. So I
Yeah, all right.
I would recommend those.
I hate the thing about the problem with sleeping while traveling. The biggest problem by far is getting my head in a comfortable resting position.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, when you're on the plane, I always try to get the window seat. I just like looking out the window. And like you always do that thing where your head is like, I put it against the window, but there's like hard plastic there. You kind of lean it back, but then your head will fucking be at a weird, uncomfortable angle where it's kind of like angling off your torso because it kind of falls into that little like crack there. And it's the worst, and that's why they have travel pillows, I guess.
I've been traveling a bunch lately. I've been taking long ass bus rides to and from Atlanta, and I've found some techniques. I bring a blanket, and I fucking tuck the blanket up behind my head because if I have then I can fucking rest my head against the crevice between window and seat, which would otherwise be horribly uncomfortable and bumpy, but with the blanket is quite tolerable. And then I sit crossways along the seat, take up both seats because fuck letting anyone sit next to me. And I put down the armrest and I put my feet up against the armrest, so I'm kind of squeeze myself into the seat space, kind of sandwiched in between the wall of the bus and the armrest with my head up in the blanket, and that is pretty tolerable. Highly recommended.
I hate squishing my legs when I'm trying to sleep. It's very uncomfortable.
I feel like I need to be a little squished.
Really?
Yeah, I'd like curl up a little bit. Well, not always, but sometimes.
Should we all tell these stories of our individual biggest travel expeditions?
Yes. Let's do that.
Yeah, we can talk about our bullshit if you want.
Okay.
Me too.
Mumkey, tell us your tale, Mumkey. What do you got?
Oh boy, it all started back in high school.
It starts with one thing.
You don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. So
the year was 1942, and I had heard some good stories about this place called Auschwitz, and I really wanted to know what was going on.
The year was
around that place.
1945 with just her sister at her side. Anyway.
Exactly.
Yep.
1942.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Hitler
Thursday,
and Himmel,
Tuesday,
something
Friday,
and
Saturday,
other rhymes.
Sunday comes again.
This is terrible. This is the worst podcast of all time.
Whichever commenter writes a
Easily.
full Hitler parody of that song, the lyrics in the comments, Ben is going to give them a thumbs up on their comments. So
Ben will
That's
give you a
right.
thumbs up. Yeah.
I will record if you get all the syllable counts correct and you're not a fucking idiot and the words actually rhyme.
Correct rhyme schemes.
I'll do a quick sing through and send it to Mumkey for him to post on Mumkey Jones 2.
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
For
I've been getting a
Stacey's
lot
mom.
of
Wait,
free
no, it's
views out of
1985.
abusing you on that channel, so it's been great so far.
Yeah.
All the shit posts we recorded at your house have, like, already the first 4 have garnered me like $5. And I'm like, okay, $5 for doing nothing. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fucking
Just recording
nice,
Digi
bro.
sitting in his room.
And we've
as
got
I'm, like,
easily
awkwardly
30 of
yelling at him.
those, so
Yeah, we do. So it all started back in high school. Little monkey boy, it's not called yellow fever when they're not Asian. What's it called when you just want to fuck somebody who's not the same color as you?
Being
a
going
xenophile.
outside your race. I don't know, like
it's
race
called being
mixing,
like a
race
cuck,
mixing.
like a reverse cuck or something. I don't know.
it's
Okay,
called
if you
it's
say
called
so.
being a devil spawn who's going to hell.
Xenophile. Xenophile.
Sure,
I guess
okay.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But little monkey boy, at the age of 17, was a bit of a xenophile. And
Yeah.
there's this gorgeous foreign exchange student girl. Oh boy.
What kind of? Where's she from?
Argentina, my friend.
Okay.
Argentina.
All right. She got that big Latin ass.
The widest country in South America, so you know it's valuable.
Thank God. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's only a little bit ethnic.
Phew.
You know, when you see a hot foreign exchange student girl, you make sure that you're her best friend. Because when they're in this foreign country, they don't have any friends. They don't have anybody. So if you're the only shoulder they have to turn to, maybe you get a little bit of that Argentinian puss. Who knows?
And you can give them one of the, like, no one in this country gives a fuck about you, so you better do what I tell you to do.
Are you negging her?
You better
Is that what you're
consume.
doing?
That doesn't sound like negging.
This is a death threat neg.
That sounds like fucking.
Yeah, like, I love to go up to girls in the club and neg them with, like, dude, I could totally snap your neck right now. That does not look like, you do not look like you have a well-toned neck, girl. We
or
should
like
work on
you
that
can
together.
teach them fake things about American culture. For example, in Argentina,
Yeah.
they do that thing where they greet each each other by kissing people on the cheek. And I taught her here in America how you greet friends when you're alone in their house and their host mother is gone, is you pull down their pants and you suck their dick.
Yeah, that's right.
So I taught her that very important American custom.
Yeah.
So yeah, we became really good friends, and naturally she eventually had to go back home. But we stayed in contact, and she wanted me to come down to Argentina to stay at her house with her family.
Right.
So that was a big old trip, crazy plan, and cost like $2,500 out of the Monkey bank account. That's like
Boy.
months of working at the local amusement park for that bullshit. And the trip there was fine. I had to take a plane from Iowa.
Wait, hold
to
on.
Texas.
I blinked out for a second, but are you saying that you went all the way to Argentina to get some poon?
That's right.
Now,
what I'm
Holy
saying.
shit,
you?
did more
we're
than...
not that far in the story yet, did you? I'm telling you about my very extravagant flight plan.
Okay, well, I'm just shocked because, like, on the virginity episode, we were all talking about how much we paid to lose our virginity, and Monkey's over here
Well, if he
flying
had already lost
out of the
it.
fucking country. Well, sure.
I paid like fucking $400,000,000 because I had to go to college to do it.
That's true.
Wait,
That's
had you
true.
had sex with this girl before this trip?
No.
Okay.
What? Did she suck your dick?
Ben, please. I do not kiss
That's
and tell.
very
I'm a
crass.
gentleman.
I mean, fine. But do you get your dick sucked
allow
and
the
tell?
narrative
Wait,
to unfold.
But so Mumkey, okay, you were talking about a flight plan. So
Right.
getting your dick sucked, was that part of your plan?
Now, you don't get to bring friends, because the flight plan I just filed with the agency lists
Right,
me, my
right.
men, and Dr. Pavel here, but only one
Okay.
of you.
Okay.
So
was your erection rising during this flight? Was that happening?
Cool.
Okay. For you. Okay. All right.
So just to get there, it's like 18 hours. You go Iowa to Texas, Texas to... You got to go to like the southernmost point, the capital of Argentina. I don't remember what it's called. San something.
Andreas.
No, it's not San Andreas. I don't remember. I can't remember. But then she lived
San
in Salta,
Bernardino.
so I had to actually fly down to the southern tip of Argentina and then take a transfer flight going back up north. So it was way out of the way, super long flight. Where it went bad was the flight home, because when you're in these foreign airports, like, most of the signs are in Spanish. Oh no, I should tell you, I guess, if I'm gonna weave a whole yarn here, going through customs on my way into Argentina was an absolute nightmare, because when you're a
On
foreigner,
your way into Argentina.
yeah, because
okay.
you have to show them your passport, and then like some little dude in like a glass booth interviews every single person. So you're waiting in line for like 3 years to get through all these interviews and stuff of all the foreigners coming in. But the motherfucker, and I guess this is my fault, the guy who had to interview me to enter the country only spoke Spanish, and I only speak English. So you can imagine how that interview went. It was about 20 minutes of him getting very frustrated with me that I don't even know, like, the most common things in Spanish. It took a few years, but obviously not enough.
Right.
And
right.
Oh,
and here's a hint for anybody who wants to, like, become
No,
a
Devu,
terrorist.
you can't. I'm on the fucking PCP right now. You can't have your microphone, you presumptuous bastard.
Here's a hint
Hang
for
on.
anybody who wants to become a terrorist in a foreign country. Just don't learn their language, because the customs guy will get so mad that you can't talk to him that he'll just shrug his shoulders and let you go on through anyway. So that's my advice.
Good.
Anyway, so the nightmare is coming back home, because the fear is one of my flights will get canceled or something, and then I'm trapped in a foreign country, and I don't know who to talk to get my new flight and all that shit. Luckily,
Yep.
nothing got canceled until I got to Texas, and then my flight home to Iowa got fucking canceled. And as I said before, I cannot sleep while I'm in the middle of traveling. So I'm just sitting at this airport already 18 hours into traveling, just losing my fucking mind. I'm telling you, airports are fucked. They're so fucked. Because if your flight gets canceled, it's game over. You're done. There's no really place to sleep. Like, they should have like little sleep chamber pods that you can go like rent and sleep in, and they'll wake you up when your flight's ready. But they don't have shit. You're pretty much stuck in Devu's thing, where either you go get a hotel room, and they don't offer me a free thing. Like, I'd have to go pay for a hotel room and then risk missing the flight again, or sleep on the fucking chair, hope that nobody steals your bags, get fucked, you fucking faggot. And the long story short is I eventually get home after being awake for 30 hours, and it was the most miserable, tired, terrible experience of my life. So typically, I think traveling's okay, but that one instance was just fucked.
Gay.
That's a shit time, dude. I've had a bunch of flights like that. Like now that I'm older and shit, and I live like farther away from where I grew up, I've been flying a lot, pretty regularly, and like American Airlines is the worst.
Oh, they can go
I think
fuck
that
themselves.
I found. Like I think on 2 separate occasions, I learned after the second time not to fly with them. Like one time my flight just kept getting delayed and kept getting fucking delayed, and then just got pushed back to the next day. So I think on that day, like since I had my car, since I'm a fucking adult, I just drove back home and then drove in the next day. But the other time, I don't know, like I didn't want to for whatever reason. Like the flight was really early in the morning the next day. So, you know, I was lucky enough that they did offer me a hotel voucher. So I just fucking, you know, got in this shuttle with a bunch of people who also got fucked over, stayed at a hotel for a night, got on my flight the next morning and got going. But the fact that they have so much, like, ability to just screw over people, the ability of an airline to fuck people over is so vast that it seems like they are disproportionately unaccountable for the damage that they do every single day by just being incompetent at their fucking jobs.
And they do it to hundreds of people at a time, and then when confronted with like how they're ruining so many people's not only day, probably week, and maybe even life by shortening it with all the stress, they have the attitude of shrug, fuck off, I don't care. Fuck you, it's my job. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wish I had a solution. Maybe this is something we could talk about. Ways to improve or completely destroy the system, and don't even give people the illusion that travel is something that you want to do. Just say no. Just stay where you are. We're abolishing flights. You just live where you live, and that's it.
We gotta wait for the teleporters.
That's what I'm saying, dog. It's travel. Travel is so shit. That's really the point at the end of this. Travel is so garbage that I want it to basically not exist by just having teleporters like they do in fucking Star Trek. You can just be anywhere you want immediately. Travel is retarded. There's nothing good about it. Hate it.
You know, honestly, I don't mind travel. I mind the cost of travel. That's the main reason I don't do it, is because I'm a cheapskate, and the thought of like spending hundreds of dollars just to go do something is just it's too much for my brain to handle, even if I can afford it.
For every calculation like that, you got to think like, okay, I'm gonna go fly, I don't know, like to this place and fuck this slut. That's the plan. Okay. Now, how much am I willing to invest in this operation here? Like, am I gonna spend like $1,000? You know, I mean, that's fine in some cases, but like to do it regularly, to make it a part of your life, it's prohibitively expensive.
Well, even like we all agreed that on the losing your virginity video, that for the first time you spare no expense.
That's
right.
No price is too much to pay.
Yeah. But then after that, you're like, well, now I understand what sex is. I understand that it's not that big a deal. Am I even willing to spend $100 on this? You know.
Well, don't forget, Digi, your virginity regrows as you go on without having sex. So you gotta keep that in mind. Yep.
But like,
canon.
And sex notwithstanding, just going anywhere to do anything. Like, for instance, the Dick Show is going to start doing these live shows.
Road Rage.
Right? This Road Rage. And he's going to do a show in LA and a show in Philadelphia. Those are the two that are planned. Whether or not it continues from there, we have no idea. There's no further plans beyond that. So he's going to do a show in Philadelphia. Now, I'm looking at it like, Philadelphia is not that far from me. Right? Like, it would either be a short, inexpensive flight or a 8-hour drive, 7 or 8 hour drive. Yeah. So, and I think I probably have friends in Philly. I can't remember if Jeff Burgess lives in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, but if he lives in Philly, maybe I'll do it. But like, so he's doing this taxation is theft show in Philadelphia. And I have to look at it and go, all right, well, first of all, we've got the travel time, which is, the 8 hours there, 8 hours back. If I go, if I go there and I don't want a hotel, that means I'm just going to, like, drive all day for a probably 2-hour show, Or I stay the night and then waste the whole next day as well. That's 2 days of just driving just to see this one thing. And then I'm thinking about if I take a car, that's probably going to be $100 of gas. If I take a flight, it's what if I have to get a hotel? $100 on a hotel, however much it costs, depending on where you are. In New York, New York trips are almost prohibitively expensive just because of lodging. It's so expensive to get a hotel in New York. It's over $100 a night that it's
That's why a lot of people do day trips to New York, I think.
Yeah. I have, here in Virginia Beach, we have something called the Chinatown bus, which is just a bus that goes straight to Chinatown, New York, no stops, and it's $50. So getting to New York, very cheap, very easy. It's 12-hour drive, whatever. It's a waste of time, but yeah, it's a cheap, easy trip. But staying in New York, that's where you're going to suddenly rack up hundreds of dollars just to fucking be in a place. Not even to do things there. Let's not even talk about the fact that if you want to actually do things there, now you're going to be spending all this. And if you go to some other town, you're not going to go eat fast food. That's not why you came. You're going to go some cool place that's going to cost more dozens, if not hundreds of dollars to do all this stuff. So the total travel cost just racks up and racks up. And it's you really got to be willing to just part with what you have in the name of good times.
That's very true. And not to mention, like you were saying, to know kind of when you're going to a new place, you don't necessarily know if it's a fun place to spend time or just what to do to have a good time while you're there. So you pretty much need to have somebody on the other end who's willing to donate their time, like a friend or whatever, that's going to or research it extensively. But even then, you never know what you're going to find. So you also have to know that it's going to be a good time ahead of time. And I also had a trip that I was thinking of doing and also didn't because it's probably not worth it ultimately. But Tim and Eric I've just announced they're doing a 10-year anniversary tour for the 10-year anniversary of Tim and Eric, awesome show, great job. And I would love to go to it because Tim and Eric are two of my favorite people in the fucking world. And awesome show was one of my favorite shows ever. But they're not coming. They're coming to Chicago, but that's 4 hours away from here, and I'm not going to do that. I would love to go, and my hope would have been to have gone to that show in Seattle, I think, with my buddy John, who also is just a huge super fan, and we fucking fell in love with that shit together. It would be a wonderful experience to hang out with him and my other friends out in Seattle, but I'm not going to fucking pay $400 to go out for a one fucking time show for 2 hours and then just come back. And I guess I could bundle it into let's also hang out with the guys, but I got shit to do. I don't have time to fucking hang out with my friends all the time. I got work that needs to get done. Yeah, that's why I need teleport. If I could just fucking teleport there and do my shit, I'd do it. It'd be the best.
I have this beautiful vision of constantly traveling and doing things with people and stuff, and then what you always realize only afterwards is that you just suddenly look at the calendar and realize that days are gone, and whatever you haven't done yet is now a pressing matter. For instance, Mumkey came to my house about a week ago as part of this travel that he was doing, who stayed the night, and we recorded a shitload of Let's Plays. Yeah. And you may have noticed that none of them have come out yet, and that's because...
I have come to expect this of you, did you?
Well,
I'm expecting to see them probably in May.
Well, we recorded a ton of them, and you don't even realize, Bucky, that after you left, me and Ben and Devu made 5 more Let's Plays.
Whoa.
Just that night. We kept going till 7 in the morning or something.
Shit.
So, yeah, I've got a whole desktop full of fucking Let's Plays. And the reason that I didn't get around to editing them is that leading up to Mumkey coming over, I was anticipating. I'm yeah, I'm gonna hang out with Mumkey. This is the most fun thing I'm gonna do this month, probably. Mumkey comes over.
Year.
We record all these Let's Plays.
It was garbage.
No, we did a bunch of stuff for 2 days, and then he leaves, and then I'm oh god, it's now March 20th or so. I have to make 2 more videos before this month is over and start planning for what I'm going to do in April. So the second Monkey's gone, it's well, now we just got to work constantly, and I don't have time to just sit around and edit all these Let's Plays because I'm going to be just outputting, all I've been doing is making shit nonstop for the main channel since he left. So that's what happens every time I travel. It's I go, I have fun for 4 or 5 days, and I come back and I realize that a huge chunk of the month is just gone, and now it's grind time.
Let me tell you one more thing real quick. It's my vision for the future. Well, it's whatever. It's so in Star Trek, there's this wonderful thing that's painted. I know I'm becoming like Mike, and I love it so much. So in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, there is a couple scenes where Commander Sisko's son, I think, is like visiting the academy or something, or something's going on, or like, oh no, what it is Sisko is like, he's back on Earth for some assignment, doesn't matter. But the point is, like, his family lives in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and he loves that place, but Starfleet headquarters is in San Francisco, California. So like, what his day is like is that he gets up, has breakfast in his house, gets in a fucking teleporter, gets phased over to San Francisco, has his day there, and then just is instantly, at the end of the day, he just fucking teleports back to Louisiana, has dinner with his family, is fucking great time, and it's just, and they just talk about it, like, oh hey, you know, I was just in San Francisco, 10 seconds later I'm here in fucking New Orleans. It's the greatest thing in the world. It's just like how cars enabled us to travel a little bit. Teleporters enable you to travel 1,000 billion million miles in a second, and it just becomes part of life. And I can't even think about all the ways it would make life better and different and interesting. It brings a tear to my eye. It's so beautiful. I want that so badly.
It'd be pretty fucking sweet. Too bad we live in the real world where we have to pay taxes and...
Yeah.
Oh shit!
and
Thanks
jerk
for reminding me.
ourselves
I still haven't fucking submitted my taxes
Oh
yet.
god, I need to do that too. That's in like a month. That's due. Yep, I need to submit my shit to my tax peoples.
Oh no.
Oh, tax cast.
No.
Ben, have you paid your taxes, Ben? What's going on with your taxes?
Have I?
Yeah, you know.
Why?
Have you
Why would
filed?
you
You
think
gotta
I
file
paid my
money
taxes?
to pay taxes.
Have you filed? I mean, don't you have to file if you're...
What have you?
Whatever.
You fuck?
Well, no, but I'm aware that I
Judgy
need to.
McJudgerson?
I'm not. I'm just saying. I have made plans to do so with like a tax lady with Aunt Sunny. You know, who does our tax.
I have 10. I'm gonna figure it out. I know how I'm gonna figure it out. I know I'll do it soon. Someday I'll pay taxes. Yeah,
So
I always end
Ben,
up doing it.
Ben, what's your craziest travel story?
I
I know you're a big hitchhiker kind of
So
guy.
are we exclusive?
Oh yeah, I fucking
Hold on.
hitchhiked that one
Before
time.
we
That was
continue
neat.
here, are we exclusively talking about the act of travel? Is
I
that
think
because
just anything about traveling.
well, because Monkey's story was literally only about the flights that he took and nothing about Argentina whatsoever.
Well, that's not
which is,
interesting.
I think
it's
that's
the
just what Monkey wants to
vastly
talk
more
about.
interesting subject. But if we're gonna focus
Yeah,
on just the
vastly.
travel, that's fine.
You can do whatever you want. I don't know.
When I fucking moved to California and was an Astro Camp fucking instructor for a while, and I lived in the mountains, and then I fucking lost that job, and then I fucking hitchhiked to my aunt's house, and then I fucking, I don't know, go watch my fucking Nuzlocke of the Black One. You know, I told that story. That was fun. I got fucking pulled over by the police. The police, they tried to arrest me. They tried to arrest me for hitchhiking, and I came up with a story. They were like, "You can't be here on the fucking highway." And I said, "Oh, my girlfriend, we had a fight, and she kicked me out of the car." And they took pity on me, and they said, "Oh, buddy, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that happened."
How
and
did
I
that
said,
story not fall apart the moment that they looked at your face?
Well, good question. I can't answer it.
Well, the cops were gay, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
They wanted a piece of that shit. Yeah. You know.
And they and they put me on the fucking on-ramp. They were like, "Okay, technically you're not allowed to be on the freeway, but you're technically allowed to stand on this on-ramp and hitchhike. Good luck, buddy." And I said, "Thanks, lawman," and I winked at them gaily. And there's more
Pull
to
out
this.
my crack.
There's more to that
Ben
story.
does have a very famously effective wink.
Do I?
Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Ben,
true.
the part of the story I've never
I've seen
understood is why you decided to hitchhike across the country when you
I
could have
just-
just flown home.
First of all, I
Like
wasn't
E.T.
going home. Second of all, flying is expensive. Third of all, I just felt like hitchhiking. My job at Astro Camp ended, and I hadn't bought a ticket. I hadn't bought a plane ticket or a train ticket or anything to my aunt's house, and I was like, well, it's only like 3 states away, and they dropped me off at the airport, And I was like, well, I didn't actually buy a ticket. I didn't tell them this. I didn't tell them that I didn't buy it. I just said, drop me off at the airport. And I got off at the airport, and I looked up at the sun, and I said, judging by the position of the sun, I think east is this way. And I just started walking in that direction.
What year was this, and did you have a phone?
Yeah, I had a phone, but I wanted to hitchhike, and this was like 2012, 2011.
Your alternative lifestyle disgusts me, Ben. You sicken me.
Me
You are
too.
repulsive. You are a parasite on this great land.
Oh
of
man,
America.
oh man! But then when I got to Aunt Steph's house, I was there for a little while, and then I went back to Northern California to live with one of my Astrocamp friends, and that was one of the best days of my life because I had like a 22-hour train ride, and it was so relaxing. And I played Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup for like 22 hours on a fucking train ride to fucking California to live with a bunch of cool faggots that let me stay in their house for free for what was supposed to be a few weeks but ended up being like 6 months before they were finally like, Ben, you need to start paying rent. And I said, okay, I understand. And then I paid like 2 months of rent, and then I ran out of money and was like, well, I can't pay rent anymore. And they said, well, get out. And I said, yep, I'll go home now. And I did.
That seems pretty. Yeah, it seems like a pretty legitimate transaction there.
Yeah. It was legit. I didn't screw anyone over. I'm a good boy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then I went to Poland, and then I went to Poland to teach physics, and then that was a plane ride, but whatever. And then for Christmas that year,
Ben, how did you go from world traveling teacher to eating Digi's leftovers every day?
I will tell you the story of how that happened.
Not even exaggerating there, Nate.
I went to Poland and I taught physics, and my students hated me, and they gave me bad reviews, and they said, get out. Yeah, you like that, monkey?
Man.
And they
it's
said,
just like your PCP lecture. All the students hated you.
yeah, that's right.
That's true.
And they fucking
They
the
downvoted
Polish
you as a person.
the people
IRL,
the
yes.
job had given me this fucking swanky high-rise apartment in the center of town, and I was like, well, I'm too. They were like, we're not going to pay for your apartment anymore. And I was like, landlord, please, I'll give me a different room. And they were like, okay, we'll move you right downstairs into this fucking dingy ass fucking hole in the fucking wall where you'll technically be sharing it with like a 90-year-old woman who's just living there waiting to die. And there's no running water, and there's no fucking kitchen. All you have is a hot plate, and there's no bed,
fuck?
and the heater is just a big stone pillar in the center of the room that fucking gets hot sometimes.
Fuck yeah.
So watch
You
out
live
for
in the
that.
lap of luxury over there.
Oh, it was a good time.
Where's my stone pillar, goddammit?
And I was like, well, for
They even
and then-
gave you a woman to have sex with.
That's right. That's right.
And then for Christmas, I had heard that Christmas in Tartu, Estonia was the best party, and I went to Tartu, Estonia for New Year's, and it was wonderful. And then I fucking was like, well, I'll take all the money that I saved working in physics, and I fucking took a fucking train and bus and fucking walking trip for like 3 months, and I went across fucking Germany and France and England to Ireland, and I was in Ireland for fucking what's the word? St. Patrick's Day, and I was doing that for like 3 months, and it took forever. And you know what? I got really bored of it after a while. I was just like, you know what? The world kind of sucks, and everything is pretty much the same as everything else. And it's like that old saw. It's like that old saying: wherever you go, there you are. It's like, it's all the fucking same. It's just whatever. You meet new people, but they're the same as the old people. Fuck it. And I was like, when I go home to America, once I run out of money, which I just did, I'm gonna say fuck it. I don't want to go anywhere anymore. I'm gonna fucking sit in my room, and the only fucking thing I care about is like my fucking mind. I'm just gonna cultivate my mind instead. Fuck the outside world. I'm only gonna look inside for the rest of my miserable life, and that's what I did. and I learned how to draw, and I fucking got good, and I became the greatest hero of a generation. And that's my story. And that's how I ended up eating leftovers out of Digi's garbage for months.
He cultivated his mind so hard he had no choice but to eat those leftovers out of Digi's garbage.
Right. I cultivated my mind so hard that I didn't even...
That's what I call a highly trained mind.
Yeah.
Ben, I just want to ask, there are probably a lot of impressionable young minds in the audience who aspire to be an artist
to
like
eating
the
garbage
great Ben
as well.
Saint.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
my question is, would you recommend this lifestyle, or would you say pursue the teaching instead of
I frankly don't
this?
understand why everyone doesn't live exactly the way I have.
I think people long for a little more stability.
It confuses and disgusts me.
Well,
that
it's scary
that everyone
to
is
have
not
a life
just
with,
like me.
To have a life with no future or prospects or like money, it's kind of scary for most people.
Not me though.
Yeah, clearly.
Boy, oh boy.
Aren't you currently financially unsustainable in the very long term, though?
In the very long term, yeah. But like, I'm okay for now. I'm okay for now. I'm okay for now. Patreon.com/BenSaint. Save him.
Yeah, save him. Hashtag save him.
Yes. Exactly.
Ben Saint.
Your definition of being okay for now is if Digi ordered a pizza last night.
That would save the day. That would save the day.
Oh shit.
Wow,
or
that's
Victor.
good.
Victor gives me fucking crazy leftovers.
Victor's
Victor's always buying
generous
food,
than
changing
Digi
his
is.
mind, losing his appetite, and being like, Ben, you want this? And that's like half of what I eat.
You know, Ben, I noticed when we were at their house, like when we were growing up, nobody ever left leftovers. Like they were consumed immediately.
Yeah.
But the Collins family ain't quite like that. They leave.
And none of us eat our own leftovers. So anything that gets left over
It's
is
bizarre.
just passed to somebody
It's bizarre.
else.
Like for
I
me and
never
Ben,
leave
that's just
anything.
an opportunity.
I never leave
Yeah.
anything uneaten. Like, never. Ever.
I just if I get something and then realize halfway through that I don't like it anymore, then it's gone.
Well, I mean,
Maybe it's just because we were like, we didn't have as many options as kids. Like we just fucking ate whatever.
I mean, it's just that my
I don't know.
my dad has always been like very like anti leftovers just because he's like a germaphobe. So I just don't think there was a culture of leftovers in the house, if you get what I'm saying.
Gay.
I see.
We're all picky eaters, really picky eaters. Everybody.
I want to hear the
that's
story of
probably
how Digi went to the Philippines to have gay sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been wondering.
So I'll tell you the travel story of going to the Philippines, which is, I guess, interesting in its own right.
I should wait. I want to mention about my story that I fucking snuck on trains. I snuck on trains and I didn't pay
Like
for
the
tickets
homeless
all
man,
the
like
time.
you jumped onto a moving train into like a
No.
little box car and
No.
you eat like a can of beans and you have a beard and shit.
And a bindle. No.
Yeah.
Like I would
Well,
get
I
on
want a
like
can
I would
of
get on a
beans now.
train with no ticket and I would just be like, well, this train ride is an hour. And I would just go sit in the bathroom on the train for an hour and no one would check my ticket. Or
Hey, Ben.
Or I would sit down on a seat, wait till I saw the conductor coming to check tickets, and then go to the bathroom, wait until they pass through the car, and then go sit down again. And I took tons of train rides for free that way.
Ben, do you want to, as soon as this podcast is over, go out and buy a can of beans and eat them with me?
Why?
Like a homeless man cooking
mean,
on like a lighter.
I have a sudden desire for beans because of Monkey talking about. I was
Are you
just
guys
picturing.
aware-
Wait. Does this mean that I get half a free can of beans?
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
Wow.
Hell
what a
yeah,
windfall.
Digi.
What a windfall awaits Ben after this podcast.
My monthly tugboat has come in. It's a date, Digi. It's a fucking date.
You know,
Yeah.
incidentally,
I'm just picturing the guy on the train with the the can of beans, but the lid is like still on. You know,
Yeah,
the mostly open.
Half
I'm like,
cut off.
yeah.
Of
He
course.
doesn't have a can opener, so he uses like a fucking rusty
knife,
old
or
knife
or
he
something.
found.
Yeah.
It's a good look. But are you guys aware, just while we're on the topic, that I eat a can of dark red kidney beans out of a can for lunch every single day of my life?
Oh my
Yuck.
god.
That's what I do.
Fucking yuck, dude.
Every single
Why?
day.
Yeah.
Because
why?
it's high in protein, high in fiber. Wait. High in fiber. Wait, fuck. How's the
High
song
in
go?
fiber, low in fat.
Low in fat.
Hey, I'll bet you
Hey,
didn't know that. When
Yeah,
I
that's-
eat beans, I sit in my own little cloud. Nobody comes to visit me in my little cloud. I don't know
'Cause
why.
I'm
Maybe because I'm cutting
Cutting
muffins.
muffins.
Yep, that's
Brack.
Brack.
I
That's
prefer-
I do literally eat these beans though every single day. Kidney
Gross.
beans are good for you.
I
so
prefer
they're good.
beans, musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you chew, the better it feels. Eat your beans with every meal.
That's the normie one, but the Brack show is
The
better.
normie one. That's
No,
the
this
normie
is-
theme song.
It's a slightly... The specific version I'm doing is from Skull Monkeys. You should all look up Skull Monkeys bean song.
Oh,
It's an amazing
fucking
scene.
Skull Monkeys.
Yeah.
Fucking Skull Monkeys.
Speaking of
Anyway.
Let's Plays that haven't come out yet,
Mhm.
3-hour Skull Monkeys Let's Play somewhere on Jesse's hard drive.
Oh god, where is it? I want that. Why isn't it out yet?
He's a bad person.
Agreed.
So, okay, who was telling the story? Someone was gonna say.
Digi was going to
It's
talk
my
about
turn.
going
Oh, that's
to
right, that's right.
hell and
Yeah.
in the handbasket.
So I was 19 and I dropped out of college and wasn't doing anything with my life.
Yeah.
And my dad was
Like you do.
we gotta get this, like this. My dad essentially thought that maybe if I went and saw something new, something that's not the house, for a change, maybe it would inspire me to like want to work or be a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So
Clearly,
so-
it didn't work.
So he knew that I had, it did not work at all. Like, legit, it did not work in the way that it was supposed to. But he knew that I had a friend in the Philippines, Ghost Lightning, who's in his 30s and has a family and shit. And he was like, that guy seems like he's got his shit together. Why don't you go visit your friend in the Philippines? And I was like, fucking, are you serious right now, dude? That's half the planet away. I've never really traveled anywhere before on my own. Like, I've never even gone to like a neighboring city without a person with me, Like, I'll tell you, one of the biggest reasons I don't travel is I hate going anywhere alone. I mean, you can ask my friends, you could ask Ben and Devu and Victor, like, because those are the only people who count at this point. Like, when I want to go even just out of the house to, like, get food, I will always try to bring somebody with me. I'm always like, hey, you want to go to Wendy's? You want to go here? You want to just be out with me? So I'm not alone, So I've gotten a lot more...
When Digi comes out, he needs someone to come out with him.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot more used
Message
to...
received.
I've gotten a lot more used to going alone just because now that I have money and nobody else does, I want to go out a lot more than anyone else does. So I've gotten used to going alone, and that's why I'm going to travel now. I'm willing to do it finally. But at the time, had never been anywhere by myself. So I was like, this is the scariest prospect I've ever heard. I'm going to a essentially third world country. Like they have, they're not third world in the way that you might imagine, but it's definitely not a first world nation.
Did you hear about their prime minister who like promotes vigilantism and like
Their-
wants to
their
personally
new-
beat up gangsters and shit?
You mean their current leader who is murdering people in the streets for
Yeah.
accusations of drugs? Like,
Right, just accusations.
yeah, well, a man who
Goddamn.
he's got such a crackdown on he's got a massive like if you do anything involving drugs you die, and
Goddamn.
and he's using this as a political power. Like he can accuse his opponents of being drug
I
drug
bet
cartel.
I bet
runners
his
and
favorite
stuff.
video game is Crackdown.
Yeah.
Damn.
Crackdown.
The country is currently it's got a really corrupt. That guy has compared himself to Hitler.
In a
I thought you were gonna say
subversion. In
Batman.
a daring
I thought you were gonna
subversion
say
of the
Batman.
typical trope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
compared himself to Hitler. It's incredible.
Wow. He's my hero. Okay, moving on.
So, but he wasn't in power at this time. So,
Okay.
this is 2011, and so my dad's like, why don't you go see a friend in the Philippines? And I was like, well, shit, sure. So I asked Ghost Lightning, and he's like, well, that sounds cool as fuck. So the plan is I'm going to go there for a whole month. I'm going to live at Ghost Lightning's house, because the cost of living in the Philippines is dirt cheap compared to, like,
That's cool.
like American dollars will carry you obscenely far over there. So the plan was that my dad was like, the most expensive part's the flight. It's like $1,000 just to fly there, right? So my dad was like, "All right, I'm gonna give you, the $1,000 for the flight, $300 to give to Ghost Lightning as like a rent fare, like to stay there for a whole month." And then
I love the Ren Fair.
yeah, he gave me. My dad had given me like $1,000 of you can spend this, and then $1,000 of this is just in case, in case anything is wrong. So I was trying not to break into that 1,000 at all. But the other 1,000, the first 1,000, you can spend this 1,000. I took you can spend this to mean I will spend all of this.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I took off to the Philippines, and it was look. I used to be. I mean, if you think I'm awkward and weird now, I used to be.
I do.
I used to be exceedingly socially awkward to the point that I made very stupid decisions based on it. So, for instance, Ghost Lightning had given me his phone number online. I, foolishly, had not attempted to call that number to make sure I had it correctly. I never, because I just thought, like, oh, I don't want to bother him. Or like, I don't know what time of day he's awake. And basically, I'm afraid of phones. I would just never, I was like terrified of calling anybody and having to talk on the phone. So I
remember to this day, people always ask me to make phone calls for them when there's a phone call to be made.
Exactly. So yeah, I was like, oh God, I don't want to have to call. But then, all right. So I get on a plane. I think I flew to probably like Detroit or something. So one of those cities that you always had the layovers from. And then from there, I flew to Japan, which was like a 14, 15, maybe more hour flight. It was longest. The total trip, this was crazy because the total time that I was in the air was I think it was that I was in the air for 14 hours, but then because it's 10 hours ahead of us in the Philippines, it had been like exactly 24 hours from the time I left that I arrived. Okay. So like I traveled into the future, but in any case, so I took this long ass flight to Japan, and then I was in Japan for like an hour. I've been there. I can say that. I was in
a brief moment in the Holy Land before going straight down to hell.
I gotta tell you, man, like I think This could sheerly be my baka gaijin talking here, but like people always say that when you go to Japan, like people who go there, like it's never what they expect. Like the women aren't as beautiful as anime characters, and it's not like how you're thinking and stuff like that. Yeah, well. Maybe because I've watched a lot of Japanese TV and travel blogs and stuff, but man, in the short time I was there, it was exactly what I thought Japan is like. I was
I'm sure you got a thorough understanding of the Japanese culture from inside the airport for 1 hour.
Yeah, I mean, all the ways that things are laid out, the ways that their PA system works, extremely organized. Constant updates on what is happening meticulously everywhere in the airport, tons and tons of signs informing you of everything. Also, all of the flight attendants, like everyone who's like, telling people that, like calling out names to get on the plane, stuff like that, all beautiful women. All of them.
I noticed when I flew to Japan, they were all very nice and very well put together.
Yeah.
Just distinctly, definitely several notches above the other flights I've taken in like domestic flights and shit.
Like I go to the airport, I expect the person calling me up to be like some,
10 out of 10 anime babe,
some fat old black lady or something. Right. Yeah. Is that my go-to for unappealing person? Sure.
We got a real JonTron over here.
Yeah. And then I go to Japan, and it's all like, like very, very well-dressed, hair perfectly parted in a ponytail. They all looked identical. and I don't mean that in the all Asians look the same way. I mean, they were all dressed and had their hair in the same style, and like, it was just all like late 20s, early 30s Japanese women with the same hairstyle, and they were all beautiful. So yeah, that's Japan in my mind now.
Ladies, you heard it here from Digibro. You're all beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Scars
I'm just saying that it is not a difficult job to be a flight attendant. I'm sure it's got its own challenges, but like the most important thing is that you look good and consistent with the airline's way it wants to present itself. So put some effort into that, guys.
Hey Nate, didn't you like go to Japan? Like travel there?
I sure did. Spent 2-3 months there.
We're not on Nate's stories yet.
We can talk about that later. There's not.
Why are you trying to Why are you trying to cut into my story to hear
Wait,
Nate's?
I thought you were done.
I'm only in Japan at this point. I haven't even
Oh,
gotten
you've
into
only
that.
gone to Japan. Well,
He hasn't
fine.
reached hell yet. Yeah.
Yeah, so then it's like a hour or two flight from Japan to the Philippines, pretty short. And so I get there and yeah, hell, good way to describe the airport in the fucking Philippines. Because, yeah, just like what Monkey said about customs, it's basically a fucking long-ass line to get up to a guy in a glass window with a very curt attitude who interviews you. And the guy, like, I'm telling him, you know, I'm going to be here for a month. And he's like, well, like, how can you be here for a month if you're if you're not gonna be working, essentially? Like, he was basically trying to badger me about, like, he thinks I don't know, maybe he thinks I'm here to do something illegal, but he's like,
It's that beard, man. It's that beard. Terrorist written all over it.
so for whatever reason, he's like, I'll mark you for 3 weeks, and you can come back and have your
What an
stay
absolute
extended.
dick.
And I'm like, okay. You know, like, I can't. I'm trying to argue with this guy, but he's just being a total asshole, right? So yeah, I get through him, get into customs, thank God I don't even bother. Whenever I travel, I only carry on, no non-carry on luggage. I'm a master of packing things, you know. All that butt sex and mostly 18 times moving the house. I know how to pack shit tight. So
Gross.
So yeah, I've got all my shit, and I get off the plane and I go out. You know, it's Monkey. You'll appreciate this. I don't think anybody else will. But in the Proto Men song, "Bring Us the Rope," that moment where you hear the doors open of the courthouse, and it's like da 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 da. And you just hear like an army of people outside chanting, and that's what it felt like walking out of the airport. There's just an endless ocean of humanity. It's just people everywhere. And like, so the idea is, you know, like any other airport, there's just like a couple of lanes of cars that are coming in to pick people up, but it's like almost all cabs, and there's like hundreds of them, and it just goes on, and there's just endless sea of people. And of course, I'm already late. Like, I'm supposed to have been there like 30 minutes ago. Ghost Lightning has, I don't know this yet, but he has a cab waiting for us. And they're going to be charging a lot. Like, I don't know what he paid for that cab, but I know it was probably a deafening amount of money.
You know, I'm going to kind of put that on him, because planes are unreliable, and like, if there's so many cabs, you should be able to just get one.
Well, I mean, I'm already like 20, 30 minutes late, but now I'm about to be another like 40 minutes late because I'm trying to call this guy, and of course I have his number wrong, and I'm trying to find him in an endless sea of people, and neither of us knows where the other is supposed to be. He can't even really know if I've landed yet, because I have had no real way of contacting him this whole time I've been traveling. You know, I'm on like, I think I'm on like an old flip phone. No, my dad let me bring an iPhone 1. I didn't have my own cell phone at the time, so I brought like my mom's old phone or something like that. So I'm trying to like, you know, figure out what to do with this number, and I can't get like Wi-Fi reception or anything. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? You know, I'm wandering around for like 40 minutes. Finally, it occurs to me to try to send an email to him. So I am able to get just the faintest connection, like it loads for like a straight minute to get into, you know, anything. And I send him an email that's just like, you know, I'm here, but I have your number wrong or something like that. And he says to me like, he sends me one that's like gate 13. I'm wearing a Mazinger t-shirt. And so, eventually I did find him, and yeah, it was a nightmare. So, and then he had
I was hoping you were going to say that like the only way that you ended up able to communicate with him was you had to really quick do an anime analysis and post it to your blog to convey the information of where you currently were.
He would have been.
And he had to like decode it, like the first letter of each word said what gate he was at.
I'm pretty sure Twitter existed at the time, so
whatever.
But so and then the other thing is like, in the Philippines, and I suspect this is true of I mean, this is true of some places in America, but it's definitely true of other countries. There's just constant people hustling everywhere. So one of the things that down there is that they'll have guys who just like at that area who are just constantly offering to take your bags. They'll carry it to the car for you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, let me and so I let some guy, and we carry him out to the car, and then Ghost Lightning's like, you got to tip that guy, you know? And I'm like, of course I do. Like, I didn't even think about it. Like, I just thinking, these guys work for the airport. And it's like, no, these guys they're doing this for tips, you know? So I tip him probably something too much because I didn't have my bills broken down far enough. But,
That's when you turn to him and say, here's a tip. Get a real job, hippie.
But
Well,
then they pull out their knife and shank
I think
you.
I probably had to pay him in
Gaijin
American
ass.
dollars because I hadn't converted my money yet to there. So I don't know what it was worth to him. It might have been worth nothing, you know. So I stayed in the Philippines for a month. It was a good time. So the travel back, as Mumkey said, also gigantic pain in the ass. So of course, you remember that guy who gave me the 3 weeks and said come back. You know I didn't come
Right.
back. You know I didn't come back to do that. So Ghost Lightning drops me off at the airport. It's like 6
Where
in
does
the
that
morning.
guy even get off? What is he like? Why do these fucking people at the customs want to fuck with you so bad?
I don't know.
Do they think that we're actually terrorists? Like you were joking,
Well,
but like what
all
the
right,
fuck
it's-
is their mindset?
What's the difference
It's their
between
job.
3 weeks and a month? You know,
I don't know.
What
All right,
difference does it
that
make?
kind of nitpick I do not understand because it seems very insignificant, like he just wanted to fuck with you. But they are trying to like minimize threat levels. I mean, I really don't
Right.
know what goes into constituting that, but something I guess
just
in that
like,
calculation.
What I didn't understand about it is that like I had my return ticket. It's not like I was, you know, getting a one-way trip and I was saying a month and then I would just never go back.
Yeah, I'm gonna
like,
come leech off your fucking country.
Yeah.
I have a fucking ticket, you retard. What do you
Yeah,
want from me?
That's the
Exactly.
weird thing.
Does
that
he
you
want you to
have
buy a
the
new
return
ticket to go home after 3 weeks?
I have no idea. He just wanted me to come back
Baffling.
to the airport all the way the fuck across town, you know, and
Go through security again to go talk to him in a little glass booth at customs?
and may I remind you that and this is the biggest problem of my trip to the
In
Philippines.
the
like
universe.
I had a good time there, but I did not do it right because as I'll remind you, I had never been traveling before and I hated to go anywhere alone, and no one there speaks English
No.
unless you're in like a rich area. So like, you know,
I they speak in the Philippines.
Ghost Lightning would try to Tagalog is what it's called, and he would try to teach me like basic enough Tagalog that I could like, you know, figure out prices of things and take public transit, because we mostly took public transit, though they had like a house driver, like a guy. I think it was
cool.
his wife's uncle or something who like would
It's
just
his wife's boyfriend, right? Yeah, okay. I'm
no,
with you.
uncle. his wife's uncle who would just like drive, like they would just pay him to be around with a car to drive members of the family wherever they needed to go around town.
But that's the cool thing about less than first world nations. You got shit like that going on. You just have
yeah,
like
lots of
servants
cool
around.
stuff.
It's pretty cool.
They had a
Pretty
bunch
cool.
of house servants and stuff like
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
like who, but yeah, that was my favorite because what he would do is he would like you know, we'd be, let's go to the mall, and he'd just like drop us off in front of the mall, and then he'd go find parking, you know.
Oh,
and then
that's
he'd just
awesome.
kind of like hang out in the parking lot until we were done, and we'd like text him and he'd come and pick us up in front of the mall.
There's not enough focus put on the suffering we as Americans endure by not having personal
Yeah.
drivers. That's a big.
It's
that's
pretty
a problem for
cool.
me.
I would love to have one. But that's the thing. To pay someone a livable wage in America wouldn't be worth it. You know?
Oh, thanks for that $15 minimum wage, Bernie, you motherfucker.
So
I mean, you could probably pay Ben in leftovers to drive you around.
I don't want Ben
It would
to
be
drive
my
my car.
honor, sir.
I don't know when Ben's job inevitably brings him in contact with a dumpster. You know, he's gonna jump from that job pretty quick. He can't be trusted. He's
I
shifty.
see.
He's shifty,
I'll go
that
and go where the money is. In the dumpster.
That's right.
I'm just picturing him driving, and he catches a dumpster out of the corner of his eye.
rolls out of the fucking driver's
slams
seat
on the
in
brakes, and he's like,
mid-transit.
"Woo, doggy! I got a gold rush today." Like, you know. So, anyways,
The homeless warrior. Yeah.
so yeah, I did not go out much, and like Ghost Lightning was always encouraging me, like, you know, when I'm not, because you know he was working, so he's like, when I'm not around, you should go out and go to the mall or go to the fucking airport and get your shit figured out with the 3 weeks thing. Go somewhere.
Right.
I never went anywhere unless either him or his wife was with me. Like I would exclusively go places with them, except for one time that I walked a couple miles to Jollibee. And ate Jollibee.
What's Jollibee?
Jollibee is the Philippines equivalent of McDonald's. I mean, they have McDonald's everywhere, but basically McDonald's took too long to come to the Philippines, so they made their own fast food chain. I mean, KFC is huge there. KFC was like the first to go everywhere. They franchised around the world early, which is why the rest of the world likes them, and we don't give a fuck. But Jollibee was one they made up themselves, and like the Philippines has a very, very interesting set of fast food regulars that they have, their go-tos, because they've got burgers with like white cheese and tons of mayonnaise, which just seems to be an Asia thing in general. Then they've got fried chicken and spaghetti, and like
Spaghetti.
Jollibee. When you go to Jollibee, it's you got like two kinds of burger, like the small big burger. Then you've got the like 3 to 5 drumstick fried chicken, and then you've got spaghetti. And then if you go to McDonald's, they also serve spaghetti. So
that's awesome.
Like everywhere there is like those are the 3 staples of fast food: burger, fried chicken, spaghetti. So yeah, I walked to Jollibee one time.
Do they have fried chicken at McDonald's?
I don't know if they have on the bone fried
sandwich.
chicken there, but they have. I mean, McDonald's has. They had chicken
But
fries
I want
and
like
selects
a
and shit at the time.
like a drum leg or whatever the fuck it's called.
I don't think they have those at
Drumstick.
McDonald's.
Drumstick. That's right.
But they did have spaghetti. So
I
anyway,
want to try McDonald's spaghetti. That sounds amazing.
yeah.
When I moved out to Cincinnati, I just noticed like chili is the thing that appeared in every restaurant, and they're like Gold Star chili is like as big as I don't know Dunkin' Donuts out here.
Another thing to
Crazy.
realize is that McDonald's is a little bit more upscale there because they charge the same prices that they would in America, but that's vastly more there.
That's what it was like in Lublin too.
Yeah.
There was a McDonald's.
Same with Japan.
That was the same in
there was a
Argentina too,
McDonald's.
actually.
And the food was the same, but they charged the same as in America.
the food was
and
worse.
therefore it was pretty fucking I thought it was about the same.
Real quick,
And they charged the same as it was in America, and therefore it was kind of like a relatively upscale restaurant. It was like right in the center of the fucking city, and it was
This
like
is a
one of the
rather
fancier
fascinating
places.
phenomenon. The fact that America has a more economically, strong position means that like by exporting like what's an equivalent like price point outside of America, they all kind of get a nicer version of that shit than we get, relatively speaking.
Yeah, and McDonald's.
That reminds me that in Latvia, when I stopped in Latvia on the way to Estonia, I got off the train and I walked around and I ate some fucking gummy jelly shit that was in some candy shop, and that was great. But I also went to a McDonald's, and in this McDonald's in Riga, Latvia, there was like a super nicely laid out thing with like this fancy fucking dessert tray, this fancy dessert rack with all these like fancy cheesecakes in it and stuff. And I went and I ordered my burger, and the manager fucking brought the burger out to me, and he was in like a nice smart like tie, and he like sat the burger down in front of me and like smoothed down the little napkin and was like, "Please enjoy your burger, sir." And I said nothing. I didn't care.
And I said, "Your people are what's ruining my country."
I said patreon.com/Ben Saved.
They had some like 2-story McDonald's in the Philippines. It's just like these gigantic and a little bit fancier, not like super fancy, but whereas Pizza Hut for some reason extremely fancy because also they charge the same prices here. So the equivalent of like if you just bought a pizza in the Philippines, you're basically spending the equivalent of $25 on it. So,
you just jogged my memory. Pizza. The McDonald's I went to in Argentina had like cheesecake and shit, like a bunch of random fancy stuff.
Yeah. The one in Latvia had the cheesecake.
So anyways, so for my travel backstory from the Philippines, I of course have not adjusted this 3 weeks thing. I've stayed a whole month and I have not done anything about it. So Ghost Lightning drops me off at the airport. It's like 6 a.m. My flight is at like 7 or so.
Oh, that's a bad move.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not. It probably wasn't that close, but like, what matters is that it's early in the morning. That's the detail you need to know. So I go in, and I'm like, I'm at the flight desk, and they're like, well, you only had 3 weeks that you were allowed to be here, so we're gonna charge you like a fee, right, of like $80, which was a
I
lot
guess it's
to
not
me
that
at the time.
bad.
Yeah,
Right, I'm sure it was
could have
a lot
been
at the
worse,
time.
but I was like, motherfucker, because I've already spent in the time I'm in the Philippines. I spend hundreds of dollars on anime bullshit. Like a significant amount of all the figures and shit that you see in my videos are bought in the Philippines because they're way cheaper there, and they had way more variety. Because not only do they have tons of bootlegs, but there's just tons of toy stores there. Like, if you go into a mall, there will be several stores that are just anime toy stores. And even Toys R Us there has tons of anime shit because they're close to Japan. They have lots of anime on TV. They've got Animax Asia and shit like that. So, I would walk into a Toys R Us and they got Gintama toys and for cheap, so I'd buy them everywhere. So I had my backpack was totally full of toys because, again, I only do carry-on, and so I just took like everything I bought, I just took it out of the box and put it in the backpack like individually, and then and left all the boxes at Ghost Lightning's house. I assume he threw them away. I had said something about like getting him to ship them to me. I don't know why I thought I would do that, but he probably threw them away a long time ago. So, or immediately rather. So yeah, I have all these anime toys and shit in my backpack, and then I'm at the airport and they're like, you have to pay a fee. So I'm like, fuck, I think this is why it was an issue, is that I didn't have enough Filipino money left to pay this fee. I only had I had already run through because the way I was getting Filipino money is I had all these like conversion checks. Like, my dad had written me all these checks where basically you go to the bank. Cashier's checks where you go to the bank, you sign in front, like you have one signature that's already on there, and then you sign again, and like at the bank, and then they exchange it for cash. So I mostly had a bunch of these checks, and I had like some American money and some Filipino money that I had cashed, but I had several uncashed checks, but I couldn't do anything with them, right? And it was funny when I went to do that, when I went to sign the second time at the bank. Because my signature is so fucking inconsistent, the lady was like really confused when I signed them, and she was like, I need you to duplicate your original signature and then duplicate this one for me. And I did that as best I could. So I'm like, fuck, the only way I'm going to be able to afford this, because they wouldn't take my American money. They were like, you need more Filipino money. So I was like, well, I've got a couple of these checks left. There's a bank in the airport. It's closed, and it doesn't open till 8 a.m., which is after my flight.
Oh, fuck.
Right.
So I don't have anything. So I'm freaking out. And then a police officer who's nearby is like, hey, look, I'll make this exchange for you. I'll give you Filipino money in exchange for American money. And
that's nice.
I think it was that, I think it was that it was like $80 is what I needed, but I only had like 50s on me or something. Like, I only had $100 for some reason in American money. So I just gave it to, I was like, he gave me the equivalent of 80 and I gave him 100. And he was like, are you sure, man? And I was like, I have no choice.
Dude,
this is all I have. I need to, my flight's in 10 minutes,
One time I was 1 quarter short of being able to do my fucking laundry, so I went wandering around the streets and just found a guy. Like, it was at like the midnight, so nothing was open, but I found at the back of the local Little Caesars Pizza there were people cleaning up, and I walked in to the back of the restaurant after they were closed and said, can someone please give me a quarter? And I just I gave a guy $5 for 1 quarter.
Oh my god.
Really?
You could have got a hot and ready pizza for that $5.
Wait, they didn't have they didn't have coin converters in the laundromat?
Dude, I don't use a laundromat. Like, there's a machine in my basement, but that uses quarters because I'm getting fucking scammed every day of my life. But yeah, like it's a nightmare actually getting the quarters for that. I have to go to the bank and shit. It's fucked up.
Just stop washing your clothes.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. I'm trying that.
So I finally get the money, I get through, and then I fly to, I don't think I had to stop in Japan on the way back. I think it was just a straight flight to America. But this time it's another customs fuckery situation where like I land in the US with like maybe like 45 to 50 minutes to get to the next flight. right? So this is going to be cutting it close no matter what. And it's a long ass line in customs, but we're going through pretty quick. Now, what's amazing about this is that like everyone else on the flight I'm with is like Filipino. You know, I'm like one of the only white guys. Everyone else is going through. They've got this left lane. The guys just like looking at him, going, "Oh yeah, go ahead." I get selected.
Ugh.
I get pulled aside to
Classic racism.
this other room. Where this other guy who is another Filipino guy, but there's these two dudes, these two like security guys who are running through this guy's shit, and they're taking forever. They're like talking to the guy and shit. They're doing all this stuff, and I'm looking over. I'm watching that other line just mosey on through, constant stream of people, and I'm checking my phone like by the time these guys even start looking at my shit, I'm gonna be fucking late, right? So like. They finally get that guy up, and then they're going through my shit. And these guys seem like total dick bags. Like they've both got.
I think that's a requirement for working at an airport.
Have any of you seen The Wire?
Nope.
Nobody. God damn
I've seen some of it.
I know Officer Moneypenny or whatever, Haypenny from San Andreas. He's how I imagine him
helpful.
Being like. No? Okay.
I know there's a black guy who likes chess.
There's these two asshole cops in that show, and that's what these guys reminded me of. It just they had like this the attitude of like the jock cop is the kind of guys I'm talking about. You know,
like if Ben Saint was a cop.
No, the opposite.
Just a big old jock. Tough guy.
It's these two guys who are like, they clearly throw their weight around, even though they're just like security officers or whatever.
That's me.
So they of course they open up my shit. They're going through all my stuff, and they're not even very thorough. They're just kind of like looking at my stuff, and of course my fucking suitcase is just full of anime crap. So they're like flipping through my fucking Gunslinger Girl books and stuff, and like I had bought this. I'd bought like a 20 like every character from a certain scientific railgun, because they had these like little mini figures, and you could buy them in like a set, and there's like 10 of them. So they're like opening up the little boxes and looking at like, so what are these for? I'm like, they're toys. He's like, yeah, but what are they for?
No, what are you gonna do with them, you piece of shit?
They're collectibles. So what the fuck do you mean? And it's like I was like, I'm probably gonna give some to friends. I don't know, man. Like, cause I gave half of them to Shade. It was just like, I don't fucking know. What do you mean? They're fucking toys. What do they look like? Can't you see that I'm a fucking weird pedophile? Like I know you can tell. Like. Because I've got this is when I've got the super long hair all the way down to my ass. That's all frazzled and fucked up because I don't take care of it. I've got the shitty fucking goatee. So I'm a hideous monstrosity. I am obviously a gross pedophile terrorist. So like, can't they just like it's like, are you gonna arrest me or not? Like nothing in that bag is incriminating because I'm not retarded. So either arrest me because I'm clearly a bad guy, or just let me through. Whatever. Yeah. So I actually managed to make the flight with like seconds to spare. Like I ran across the whole airport. And I'm out of shape, so I show up like winded, and my legs are burning and shit. Like I ran across the whole fucking Chicago airport, or whichever one, one of the big ones. And I guess that's basically the end of the travel story.
Oh, what a journey! What an odyssey it was.
Customs people should all be like fucking hanged.
Yeah.
I have a positive story about the customs people.
Oh, no, you
story.
don't.
Shocking.
I do.
Shocking and unforgivable.
What, did you have sex? Was it like a cute little Japanese woman and you had sex with her or something?
Yeah, I mean, all I had to do was take her out of my suitcase and let him fuck her, and then he let us go through. So it was pretty good. It was worth it for my investment. Okay, so I mean, I'll just go through mine real quick.
That was such a weird reversal on what I think Mupke meant. That it really threw
maybe
me for
I misunderstood.
He was implying that you had sex with the customs lady.
Right.
You seem to imply that you had a Japanese lady with you who had sex with the customs guy.
In my suitcase. Yeah. I guess I'd been like forming this idea in my head. Listen, you guys tell travel stories like you're a pedophile. They're examining what's in your bag. There's a little girl in there. Something like that.
Yeah.
It all comes together.
Yeah. So the most interesting travel I've done was when I visited Japan for 2 months. before my senior year of college when I was studying Japanese at school at the College of New Jersey, and that was by far, yeah, it was pretty nerdy. The best thing, it was the best thing about college, without a doubt, other than meeting my friends, which was good. But this trip was the best. It was the best thing I've done in my life. So the trip there was actually great. I mean, I was lucky that like my parents helped me pay for the trip. I couldn't have done it on my own. And I got a bunch of cashier's check, got all my shit together, packed my bag, packed all my anime shirts to wear what the people in Japan wear, and got on the plane and just got out there. And the flight out there was pretty great. Can't really complain. I think it was from Logan Airport in Boston, and I think there wasn't a stopover. I think it was like a one shot. I could be wrong about that, but in any case, the flight to Japan was lovely. It was like the best airplane food I've ever had. I had like a fucking meal, and it was like
I got a meal for
the
you.
seats were comfortable. Yeah, please. And the air ladies were great. It was wonderful. And so I was living there, going to this school. I actually looked it up while you guys were talking. It's KCP International, so it's like the PCP only with a K for Japan,
and also international.
Yeah, and also that. So that place was great. It was this cool ass school.
Wait, the PCP's international. We have Hippo and Mage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, fuck you, Ben.
You're not international.
Europe's not made of real countries.
Wait, international doesn't just mean Japanese? I don't understand
Nope.
that.
Not anymore.
Unfortunately, not.
You learn something new every day.
Well, not if you're me.
The mind of a homeless man is a closed book. There's nothing new entering or leaving it.
I have a closed book. I'm washed up. I'm set in my ways.
So I don't have much to say about that. I mean, it was just a school. There was a bunch of like Koreans. It was mostly Koreans, probably like half Koreans. Then a bunch of weeby Americans and like a couple of British people and shit. They were all cool. But what was interesting about it was I noticed where my money went while I was there, because I spent an ungodly amount of money there as well. I bought, like, one thing I was really looking forward to was that I'd never been satisfied with the selection of
Sexually.
one-piece shirts. Well, that too. I did try to get laid extensively in Japan. That was like probably the number 2 thing that I engaged in while I was there. Right, so I was trying to find like one-piece shirts, and I was online one day and found like this ad. I just found like a magazine that had like ad for one-piece shirts from Uniqlo, and they just had fucking one-piece shirts. So it was a big day trip. I dragged a couple people out. We went to Uniqlo.
Were you a day tripper?
Yes. Yes. Good joke.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I found the promised land of one-piece shirts in this Uniqlo, and I bought them, and it was good. It was actually fun. I did that like early on in my trip. But later on, when I just like when I figured out how to wander on Akihabara and shit, like there was more to be found. Just like on the street everywhere. Well, okay, I'm exaggerating, but like in like the clothing districts and shit, in like the shopping centers, there was just tons of One Piece shit because Japan gets it. Japan understands that nothing else matters except One Piece. So aside from just like buying that shit, my money was divided up between like bar tabs, buying alcohol, going to food places like the McDonald's we'd go to after being out all night trying to get laid in Roppongi. Roppongi was the place we went, like the club district. Me and a couple of friends from school. We'd go there, and my money was consumed by that. But then, more interestingly, I spent a lot of time at both crane machine arcades and just like straight up game arcades in general. Because there was this game that I was already really into, Project Diva, the fucking Hatsune Miku rhythm game.
Yeah.
And that game was hot at this time. I think this was like 2000.
Awesome.
It is awesome. It was fucking great. And they had these arcade booths where people would be lined up around the fucking block to sign up and play fucking Project Diva. And I would play Megarine Luca. I can't remember what fucking song. I had like one song I was pretty good at. But these guys were masters. They were grand masters. Like the Japanese have abandoned their kung fu ways and taken up the Project Diva ways, and they have excelled. And it was pretty dope. Spent a lot of time there. Bought a lot of JoJo figures from these like crane machines. Oh, one fun time I had was that like on the day I was leaving, there was this 2-piece set of a
A
from
2-piece
Code
of One Piece.
No, unrelated to One Piece actually. There was so early on when I was there. There was like this crane machine like that was set up with like a 2-piece thing. One had C2 from Code Geass, and the other had Colin Kozuki. And like on the first day, well, early on when I was there, I won the C2 set, like piece of the 2-piece set, and I was like, yeah, great. But one day I've got to get that Colin, so I'll come back later. And I never did until the very day I was leaving to get on the plane to go home, and I happened to walk by an arcade that had that Colin other half statue of what I had, and I was like, well, this is a sign, got to do it. So I spent like 2 hours in this crane machine just putting 100 yen after 100 yen after 100 yen into the machine trying to fucking get this thing. And like after like half an hour, the guy who owned the place just like noticed what I was doing and like tried to come over and give me some pointers to stop wasting money to like actually help me win the thing. Because I had definitely spent like hundreds of dollars by the time this, well, okay, maybe 100 all told.
What were you trying to get again?
I was trying to get like, so I've got the statue. I'll put like a picture of it or something. It's like a combining statue of from the anime Code Geass, C2 the character and Colin Kozuki, and like you can put them independently.
That's Colin Stadfelt to you. You nigger.
No, I understand. I am a true Japanese man. I have been to the promised land. I'm one of her now. I am with the struggle. Anyway, I fucking, like, eventually, even his help wasn't enough, so eventually he just, like, adjusted its placement. He opened the thing, adjusted where the thing was, let me do it again, and then I won the thing, like, immediately. So
basically you had put so much fucking money into trying to buy what was probably a $20 toy that he had to give it to you.
He just took pity on you.
That's exactly what happened. He just took pity on this poor white man, just throwing away his entire inheritance.
That figure was probably for sale in like a store behind you, like for half of what you spent on it.
But you know, then I wouldn't have this cool ass
story.
Yeah,
and
that's
what
right.
A story.
That's right. This honest Injun who took pity on me in the land of the rising sun. Yeah. And okay, so that was that. But one other thing, looking back on that I noticed. So one of the things I did while I was there, like the other big expenditure I made while I was in Japan was I bought a gym membership. But getting a gym membership for like, even in America, getting a gym membership for a short amount of time is not something you can do easily. So like I ended up spending like a quarter of my total money on like hundreds of dollars on this fucking gym membership.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I had to get my lifts. While I was there.
Sure.
It was it was it was a really nice place. It was the funniest thing was when I signed up, I had to do like a one-on-one interview, and like most of them spoke Japanese obviously, but there was this one lady, this like young girl, and they were all wearing the exact same like track suit. They were all uniformed up as like staff members of the place. It was, in fact, it was just like this fucking manga I'm reading right now, Nankito Damboru or whatever it's called. It's about weightlifting girls. It's great, I love it. But it was a very lovely experience going there. But the cool thing I learned while I was there, that in gyms, in like weightlifting gyms in Japan, did you know that if you have any tattoos, you have to cover them up? Because there's so many Yakuza members that go to these gyms with tattoos all the place that it is inevitable that a gang war will break out in a gym if they see each other's tats. Yeah, so you are not allowed to show any fucking tattoos on your skin in any of the gyms in Japan. Yeah, it's pretty dope. But anyway, so yeah, that's how I spent my time there. And the flight back was much more painful. So like on my way back, I was late and just missed my flight because I've never been very good at being on time for things, and I fucked this one up bad. So I probably got there like an hour late or something. I just didn't understand like the travel times yet to get to the airport specifically. And when I got there, I'd missed my flight. It was shitty, so I just got a flight like the next day. I just got pushed back. They took pity on me and gave me a flight the next day. So I just spent a day in the Tokyo airport, wherever the fuck this was, and I used that time at the time. I mean, my Japanese was at its best ever at this point. So what I did was, this was a wonderful airport with lots of shit to do. So I just went on down to the bookstore, bought myself the entirety of the Skypiea arc of One Piece in One Piece volumes, and like the last 10 volumes that had come out at that time, which was like during Fishman Island. And just sat down, read myself some One Piece, tried to learn as much as I could.
Isn't that like 30 books?
I mean, I probably bought like 20 right there, but you know, they're
How
pretty
did you
short.
carry all
So
those?
desu ka.
Yes, that's
So
what I was saying.
desu ka.
What were you saying, Mumkey?
How did you carry 20 anime books at the same time?
They're really not that big. Like they're small.
I mean, I have a
compact
bunch of
little
them on my
things.
shelf. I mean, they're like a book.
You don't know anime like me, all right? You don't understand. I've been to the Holy Land. Who are you? Who the fuck are you, Monkey Jones? You don't know shit.
Anime books are smaller in Japan. They are moto michikaku. Shit.
I think the ones that
Miji.
Everything's smaller in Japan.
Hold on.
you know.
Oh,
shit.
chisai. Moto chisai.
That's right.
Why was I thinking Miji? Oh, God damn.
Well,
I'm
I'll
sitting
tell you
here.
why.
I'm
Because
looking
you're
through my
weak.
Japanese to English dictionary now to figure out why I was thinking of.
Oh, I almost forgot. I also went to Comic-Con while I was there, and that was cool. A lot of cool cosplay. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever.
I would
it was a
love to
great
go
time.
to fucking Comic-Con. If I would never go to Japan. Fuck Japan. The only reason I would ever break that promise is if I could go to Comic-Con.
Ben, what would you
Really? Are
do
you
at
that
Comic-Con
interested?
with no money?
Eat a fucking dick, did you?
The only
right, no,
the only thing to do there is to buy shit. It's a comic
There-
market.
I would
He's
look
right,
at
he's
fucking
right.
comics. I would look
There,
at
no,
fucking
but there
doujin
is
artists.
a second thing. There is a second thing to do while you're there.
I
and
would
it's
go to
observe.
fucking be around people that were buying shit tons of doujins. It would be cool.
What's cool? That is cool. What's cool?
Davoo is literally literally howling out my window.
I mean, Ben, we've both watched
Comic Party.
Comic Party, right? So we understand. We knew right then and there.
Yeah,
everything
that
there
was
was
the
to
life
know
for
about
me.
that. Right. So you can go there and you can reach it. But the other cool thing that was happening there was like, so at Comic-Con, you're not allowed to take pictures of cosplayers at any time, unless there's a giant like open square down like to the side of the convention, and that's where like cosplay sluts go to get their pictures taken of them. They get corralled in there, and if you're in the danger zone, people can take pictures of you and you can't complain. You gotta deal with that shit within the bounds of decency, I'm sure. So looking at all the the cosplay there was obviously far better than like at any of the shitty conventions I've been to in America. These
Comic
people are fucking
cosplay
pros.
is
They know
next
what's
level.
up. Yeah. And that's it. That's basically my whole story.
Ah, so desu ka.
Si, senor.
So
Si, senor, des.
Si, senor.
So-
Yeah, my trip to Japan
so
really
desu
taught me a lot.
ka.
So what is the moral of all these stories? Like, what is the consensus on
The moral
travel
of the
here? That
story
it's terrible?
is don't travel. It's boring.
Don't go through
It's
customs
gay.
because they're all fucking assholes.
Oh,
Just
I forgot
stay
my custom
home.
story. Let me tell you that's really short. When I was on my way back, when I got like the flight in from Japan to wherever, like Chicago airport or whatever in America. So like when I got through there, like I didn't have to do any interview stuff. Like it seems like you guys did when you traveled internationally.
Yeah.
But I did get like there was like one international level of like bag searching and shit. So like this guy opens my bag, and one of the things I had bought as like a present when I got back was I bought my parents a big old bottle of sake, and
that's
they just
foolish.
it's totally illegal, and you're not allowed to do it at all. And he's just like,
Wait.
you got a bottle? Well, it's because like you could like store shit in it or something. It's
Not
like
to mention you can't have
liquids.
liquids. Yeah, above like
Yeah,
like
I just had it
2
in my bag.
ounces or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so like
didn't know
the
that.
guy
That's
just
true on
stops
all
me.
flights, not just international. You cannot bring liquids onto a flight.
Well, I don't remember if this was in my carry-on or in like my separate bag. It must have been my carry-on. I don't actually remember, but like whatever bag it was, this guy examined it and he opened up and he's like, "Dude, you know this is illegal, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I don't know anything about anything."
Why would you think that I know anything, you asshole?
you immediately went, so desu ka.
Yeah.
Nani,
I am just a
nande,
Japanese grandmother,
nanja
I-
Korea.
I sorry, officer. Is first time I do it.
So
That was pretty much what I said, just in my perfect English. And he literally he was like, "Dude, you know this is illegal, right? You're not allowed to travel with this." And I was like, "I'm sorry. Please
Is
forgive me."
that a
And it was
fact,
just like,
sir?
Yeah, and he just said, all right, no big deal. Go on.
Oh,
And just let
you
me go.
nigger! How'd you even
He let
get
me
away with
keep it.
this?
He didn't even take it. He let me keep it and just let me go. And then I gave it to my parents, and we all drank it, and it was a grand old time.
That's
Beautiful.
And
Unbelievable.
when I got back from Japan, my parents had tried to put together a sign that said "Welcome back, Nate," or like "Welcome to America" in Japanese, and they fucked it all up. It was a bunch of nonsense.
Embarrassing.
It was truly embarrassing. That's when I knew we were done. That's when we were done right on that day. They can't even speak the king's Japanese. And,
The
that was the end of it.
Japanese.
The emperor's Japanese, whatever.
I'll
There you
say
go.
that time going to the Philippines was real scary, and it was difficult, all the travel, and the couple of times I flew out to Montana to take the plunge.
Yeah.
It was
Disgusting.
it was still a little like the first time I did it, it was still kind of a pain in the ass, but by the second time I was like, you know what, flying, whatever. It ain't that big a deal. The funny thing is, like, I think I was always so afraid of, like, everything going wrong, but even when stuff does go wrong, it's fixed pretty easily. It just wastes time. It's just like,
Yeah,
you
time-
missed your
time's
flight,
the
well,
thing.
you gotta take one, like, in 4 hours, so have fun fucking around the airport, you know?
People are pretty accommodating, really.
Yeah.
Like if you miss a flight, they'll help you, but you will have to wait until
Yeah,
like there's
you
a
just gotta
flight,
waste a
yeah.
bunch of fucking time. And I've gotten so used to the airport itself because of Radcons 1 and 2, where I was constantly driving back and forth to the airport to pick people up, and now I have, like, I could perfectly envision every square inch of that airport now. Like, I know it like the back of my hand, so I have a sense of confidence about that airport. Like, if I gotta fly somewhere from here, I know exactly what it's gonna be like. I know what's gonna happen. Nothing's alien to me, I finally understand how baggage claim works after having watched Jesse go through it. So, yeah, I feel like, you know what, travel, yeah, whatever, but the cost of travel,
Kind of like everything in life, you just got to know what you're getting yourself into and then calculate if it's worth it, because it costs money, costs time. It'd be nice if we could just teleport people places, but we can't. So just, make sure
real
it's
gay.
worth it, I guess. I don't know.
I
You got
told
any
that
questions
whole
this week?
that whole ending part was just so I could say the phrase plunge. That's the only reason I told that part of the story.
Good. Worth it. So how about we just go to questions?
Yeah,
Yeah,
question
Wrap
time.
up some of these shits. All right. I remember, everybody, tweet us. We tweet out when we're fucking doing the shit, usually on Saturdays around like 4 p.m. or so. So at TP Crastinators. All right, let's see what we got.
Hey
So
Nate,
just ask-
remember when Mom and Dad took us to Mexico and we stayed at Club Med?
Actually, I don't remember that at all.
I was like
I remember that
4,
it happened, sort of.
and I vaguely remember it, and that was the only good travel story of my miserable life.
Really? You remember
would-
it fondly?
No,
didn't,
it
man.
sucked. It actually sucked, but I do sort of remember. I sort of remember being annoyed and not liking it. And there we go.
Well, our dad took us to a lot of places. He liked to travel, and we've been to like Seattle as a family and like Disney.
That's true.
Land,
We
World?
went a couple
I like
of
Disney
places.
World.
Disney
Disney World was
World.
fun.
Yeah, I didn't go to land.
And
I went to Disney World.
And we'd been to like the Grand Canyon and just like Utah. And
Oh
a couple
yeah,
places
we
out
did
there.
travel to the Grand Canyon, and we went to see the place that I wanted
Oh, yeah,
to see, which was
if
Utah
only-
Arches National Park.
If only I had been old enough to remember any of this story. I have had the ultimate travel story in my life, but I was a child because my parents toured with Lollapalooza, the big
Wow.
big fucking
The big
tour from the
show
90s that the
Yeah.
Jane's Addiction created, and it was just like every fucking cool band of the 90s would all tour around the country. We went to like 36 different states because my parents were running a clothes vendor.
Goddamn.
So we traveled in a fucking in a shitty fucking mobile home that broke down constantly. All kinds of terrible stuff happened. Every story I've heard from it is like, this is the ultimate story, but I'm too young to remember any of it, so I can't tell. The only thing I remember, other than skipping rocks with Green Day, because Green Day would babysit me and Victor in exchange for clothes at the time.
Is that actually the band you're talking
Yeah,
about?
the band
actual
Green
band?
Day would babysit me and Victor when we were babies in exchange for free
Wow.
clothes from my dad. And you can see
Okay.
that the clothes that my dad gave them was from Pernici. They wore it at Woodstock in '95. So,
Well, shit.
yeah. So I was babysat by Green Day on this
It's
tour.
ironic because now you're an American idiot.
Yeah, and I remember we were going to the
Fuck
Grand
you.
Canyon, but for some reason I heard Grand Cannon, so I spent the whole time thinking we were going to a giant cannon. And I thought that would be fucking awesome.
It would be.
Yeah, and I remember that while I was thinking about the Grand Cannon, the Smashing Pumpkins song, "Despite All My Rage, I'm Still Just a Rat in a Cage." I don't know what it's called. That song was playing. That's all I remember of my trip around the world to 36 states or about America.
When I think of Grand Canyons, I think of my favorite cannon, which is the ones that send you places from Secret of Mana.
Yeah, Canon
And
Travel
that's
Agency.
Canon Travel Agency. All right. That's enough about my bullshit. Okay, what fucking questions we got here? Let's see. Okay, let me find one. Okay, I gotta find a filler one, so you guys can talk while I find one that's better.
I'm gay.
Okay, here we go.
I'm gay.
Megan
I'm
Lau
gay.
at Nyan Kwan asks, "How do I become as suicidal as Mumkey Jones?"
Oh shit.
Well,
How does she
yeah,
become this
we'll
way?
fucking watch his video on top deadliest suicide methods.
But
True.
that's once you're already suicidal. That's useful. How does she get to want to do that?
I'd say just based on who you might be, I think if you watch either the depression video and or the Elliot Rodger review, maybe it'll get you there.
Yes. Okay, here's one. At Core Reviews asks, "Guys, how do you feel about cooking/baking? Do you enjoy it, and are you good at it?"
The answer for Ben is no, because he just
Wait,
had a huge baking
don't say it.
experiment.
Don't say it.
Don't say
Okay.
it. Now
Okay.
I'm curious.
I don't
What
know
happened?
You
why.
know what? You didn't like it, but I thought it came out pretty good.
What-
you just
what
didn't like
food
the
is this?
ingredients. That's all. No, don't
was
fucking
it?
say it.
Did you
If
tell us right
Don't
now?
say it.
You
I'm
know
not
what?
sure-
If you say it, I'm just
not
gonna edit
sure
it out.
why it's a secret, because this video won't come out for a week and a half.
I don't care. You're not allowed.
Wait, are you just saying this is a time-sensitive thing?
Yes.
Is that
Yes.
the reason? Oh,
Anyway.
okay, all right, that's fine. The people will know one day. Just tweet about it or
It
something.
was whatever. You didn't like the ingredients. That's fine. That's fine. It's not for
well, you
everyone.
see,
it's only
the
for
problem
people
is-
with refined palates like myself.
You should have gone to Papa John's for better ingredients
Yeah.
and better pizza.
That's true.
Yeah.
Shit, now I want pizza more than I want beans. I forgot about my desire for beans
Oh.
earlier.
Ben,
No,
he's got
right.
cucked out of your beans.
Hey,
No,
it's
he'll
not
still
the
get
first
those.
time, and it won't be the last.
Hey, here's one, Mumkey. This is mostly for you because you just do this
Me
the most.
again.
Of things, but, well, it's for everybody. But at Josh Rushing asks, "What's the weirdest/most disgusting snaps, as in Snapchat, I assume, you guys have ever
Oh,
gotten from
man.
fans?"
I immediately after doing the interview with Mumkey, where I was asking him if he gets dick pics, and he said every day, and I said I've never gotten
Yeah.
one, and so immediately someone sent me a dick pic, and I blocked him. So
That was me. That was my ultimate.
then I realized why I don't get dick pics is because like anytime something happens to Mumkey, and I think, man, how have I been so lucky that my fans aren't like that? I then remember that anytime anyone fucks with me in the slightest, I block them, and that's why it doesn't
Yeah.
happen to me.
Solid reason.
Okay, so the worst thing I can think of right now is just like a close up of a guy's hairy asshole while he's shitting, so I can see the shit come out of
Oh
his
my
body.
God, no!
And of
Oh,
course, it's a
yeah.
snap, so like you don't know what
Yeah,
you're
how the
looking
fuck
at
did he
until
do
it's
that?
too
Ben,
late.
Ben sees that, and Ben just thinks, "Oh man, dinner is served. Here we go."
How did he
fuck
pull
off.
off this?
Yeah, that's you, Ben.
How
That's
did he
you.
pull off this fucking snap? That's like impressive.
That
Man,
is
I don't
impressive.
fucking know. I didn't interview him about it.
I've
You
been
gotta bring
having-
him on. Do an interview with this man, Mumkey. We
I've-
need this.
I've finally started finally after all this time I finally started getting nudes on Snapchat, and I've been trying to send them back, but it's so
no.
difficult to hold my gigantic phone, which by the way is an S7 Edge, so it's got the little like if your fingers touch the little edge piece, and it does it'll do things. So like trying to hold the phone and press the button and hold it at an angle where you can actually like see me is just impossible. I'm like, how the fuck. Like, I don't know how she's sending me these impressive pictures, but I can't fucking do it without breaking my hand.
Well, you win some.
Yeah,
you lose some.
I know what you mean. I actually, I try to take progress pics to keep track of like my muscle building and stuff, and it's actually really hard. It's fucking hard to fucking do that shit. I'll just like turn on the camera and like record, and then just take a video and then just divide up into clips.
Yeah.
So if somebody ever hacked into my computer, they would find many pictures of me mostly naked. Not entirely though. Okay, here's one. at Lazy Ace Dia asks, was there ever a time you questioned your sexuality, or have you always known you were gay?
I always knew. Next question.
I always knew. Yeah, I think we all knew. Let me see here. Okay, let's. All right, let's. Fuck. No, hang on.
Let's fuck.
That was actually shit.
That's gay.
Which is why I'm into it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
I
I don't
like
know.
it.
We can end after one of these or something. But this guy asks, advice, what's the perfect ratio? At M Spectrum asks, what's the perfect ratio of editing to video output? Should take as long as you need.
What
to
a
set
gay
it.
question.
I'm just saying, is there a number to be found?
No editing whatsoever is the ideal level of editing.
Just do the opposite of what Nate does.
Yeah, and
That's
anything
true,
that's
that's
not
true.
what Nate's doing is what you should be doing. To me,
I'm working on it. I'm working
Anything
on
that's
it.
not that.
if it takes, I mean, anything that I don't send to Devu, the most it's going to take me to edit is a couple hours. I should be able to do it in one sitting, and if I can't do it in one sitting,
God.
it means it's gonna be it's gonna be hell before it gets like the top 10 and top 20 anime of the year videos. I edited those myself. Each of them only took a couple of hours to do, but because there were so many breaks in the workflow, then it took me like days, and I was only able to finally do it when I got shit faced and could convince myself to work. I hate editing.
I remember that. Yes, editing is bad. This guy, incidentally. Actually, no, never mind. Okay, last question. Let's end on this one. At Wienermeister asks, TP Crastinators, where is my dad? I haven't seen him in 2 weeks. I don't
You might have to
Thanks for asking,
You
Mike.
might have to
Mike
ask our
Wiener.
buddy. I mean, I know I was complicit in this, but I don't actually know what Munchie does with the dads that we steal, so
right.
you'll have
right.
to
I mean,
consult Munchie about it.
I know I've got someone's dad in my trunk, but it might not necessarily be your dad. So
Yeah, I mean, I just steal the dads.
Well,
I don't-
wait. What was this guy's name?
it was at Wienermeister.
Oh, well, Wienermeister. I mean, is your dad too missing his hands, feet, and head? If so, it may be him.
Okay, that's enough. Once again, all terrible questions. Do better next time, people. Very disappointed, as always. Terrible questions.
Words of encouragement from best guy ever. Do better
right.
next time.
Yeah, I got it. You know, our audience has this weird. It should be the easiest thing in the world to ask questions. Just make them stuff that all of us can answer, because we will not select your question otherwise. When we were doing the Let's Plays, we had me.
Oh man, that was a disaster.
Yeah, I put out a tweet that's like, me, Mumkey, and Victor are playing video games. Tweet us questions, and half the questions are stuff like, what's your favorite anime studio? I'm like, motherfucker,
Yeah,
these two don't even know what an anime studio is. I bet Mumkey cannot name one fucking anime studio.
A1
Mumkey?
Pictures is the best one.
There you go.
there you
That's
go.
true.
Expect to have anime related questions just roundly ignored and
I
mocked.
am the.
Yeah,
let me get this, since people don't seem to understand this, because everyone in the PCP likes some anime, but I am the only member of the PCP who gives a single fuck about anime. Maybe Nate as a second.
They might be confused to
runner-up.
think that I give a fuck about anime. Really don't.
No.
Really do not.
Nate
you know?
watches
They
like
are deeply confused.
For anybody, if you're watching anyone's channel other than mine, the amount of shows that they've talked about on their channel is just about the exact same as the amount of shows they've seen. There's
Well, that is not true for me. That is not true for me.
okay, we'll say double then. The double,
No,
Yeah.
that's not.
double the.
You are underestimating how many fucking shows I've seen.
Well, then
I
you-
started watching anime before you, fucking child. You're a little baby. You don't know
You
anything
did not
about
start
anime.
watching anime before me. Don't.
Didn't you
he
start
might
watching
have.
during the original Adult Swim? Because that's the old school Adult Swim when they had the actual footage of pools and shit.
Yeah,
That's when I started
2001.
watching anime.
That's
Okay,
yeah.
there you go. So same time.
But I mean, that's when
fine.
I found out it was called anime. You know, I mean, I've been watching Sailor
Yeah, I'm sure
Moon
we all
and
watched
Pokemon, before
Pokemon and
that,
Yu-Gi-Oh
you know.
and shit.
Well, Yu-Gi-Oh
same here.
would have been
Whatever.
after Adult Swim started, but.
Look, we all know you watch more anime than me.
Right,
It's
well,
obvious.
that's
I'm
why I
just
said
saying
that
I
you
have
were the
seen a
only
lot of
other
anime.
person who could be said to
Right,
care about
okay.
anime on here. I mean,
I
you
care
and
a
Ben
little bit.
have
I
seen
care
it.
a little bit.
Hippo has maybe seen 15 shows total, if that. You know, he's only
I've probably
watched.
seen 25.
Yeah.
I just do not care about the anime industry nearly as much as you. I mean, I
No.
care about because I like anime
Nobody
and I want
does.
more good ones.
Nobody
but
does.
that's it. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, that's it. We're done. And I was just gonna say one more on your topic, on your point, Ben. That my words of wisdom for the people here. Always bad questions. Remember, the two most damaging words in the English language are "good job." So never, you know.
What?
That's from fucking Whiplash. That's from Whiplash.
Oh shit!
Because you gotta challenge people and tell them that they're shit until they get good, and no matter how good they actually are, they can always be better.
Tough love
someone
from Best
someone
Guy
accused
Ever.
me of being the coach from Whiplash after my big rant. That was one of the many comparisons I was giving.
Where did they say that to you? Did you?
Say some comment somewhere. I don't know.
Then why the fuck didn't you say so? That's a quote. All right.
Subscribe to Monkey Jones.
Yeah. Subscribe to Best Guy Ever.
No,
Patreon.com
subscribe
/
to Monkey Jones.
Best Guy Ever, but also Patreon.com /
Monkey
the
Jones.
Procrastinators. Shut up. All right. Thanks for listening. Cut him out. Just cut him out of this podcast.
He's out. It'll be
out.
like he never even existed in the first
Yes.
place.
Perfect. Just
Everybody
the way I want it.
say
Eradicated.
goodbye. Goodbye.